I got bad dirt. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 354. So, I haven't given you an update on me building my house in a while, and the reason is because nothing has been happening other than figuring out how to solve a huge problem. And so, today I thought I'd actually take you over there, but it's raining. The good news is I'm not going to melt, and I've got an umbrella. So here's a plan. We're going to go over to the lot. I'm going to show you the progress that hasn't happened, explain what the problem is, and the solution that we actually just came to yesterday so that things can start moving again. And then after that, we're going to head back to the office and go over some of your business questions, because from last vlog, a ton of business questions. And I've just got something to say. If you did not watch last vlog, the one about makeup, right? The thumbnail does not express how amazing that video was. We interviewed John from Strix about his company, how they started, their methodology. If you guys haven't seen, they were on Shark Tank, and John is a follower of the vlog and a good friend of mine. And so I called him up, we interviewed him, talked to him, and he dropped so much knowledge last vlog. For you guys out there that are wanting to start a business, you got to go back. We're gonna link it down below. I was bummed that they didn't get better views, but if you watch it, I'm telling you, you're gonna get so much value. Now let's go to my bad ass dirt, as in like not good, it's bad, like bad ass dirt. That's what how I should have said it. All right, so I'm not gonna bore you with all of the backstory. Actually, I gotta catch you up to speed. All right, so those of you who didn't know, I am building a house. I started the design a year and 8 months ago. So long time, and it's kind of just taken longer than I would like because I'm impatient. But I had a lot, I bought a lot, and I was really excited. I knew that there was a pipe that needed to be moved. We ended up moving the pipe, which was the first thing we ended up doing on the property in the lot. It's a big lot, it's an acre. I was excited. I'm excited about the house that we built, or that we designed. I'm pumped, right? And so this is the current state of the lot, right? Right here, right? It's not a pool. But I got this big retaining wall back here because we're going to be lifting up the backyard, and so the house kind of just opens up to this courtyard. The pool is these stakes right here, right? Pool. So literally I am like sitting in my pool right now, but I can't do that yet. And the reason is because what we have come to realize through a bunch of different soil analysis is that the dirt here on this lot is bad. What does that mean? What's bad dirt? Basically, when you're building a house and you dig the footers are basically what the walls go into, right? And in order to basically have a stable house, you got to make sure that the footers are on virgin dirt, right? It can't be fill dirt. Well, what I've come to realize through lots of analysis and anyway, when they ended up piping, the pipe that I moved, what it was a stream that they actually piped. And so they ended up bringing in all this crappy dirt. Now, the truth is that there was a house here before. We were like, well, how did they build a house before, but now you can't? Well, the answer is because nobody cared back then about compaction, right? And if the house falls down, no big deal. The house ended up falling down, as it would be, but it was also kind of like a crack house. Literally, it was a duplex. It was kind of like a crack house. Anyway, so they brought in all this crappy fill dirt. And so we figured this out. We did samples all over the property to see well, how much bad dirt is here. And the answer is $350,000 worth of bad dirt if we were to remove all the bad dirt, bring in new dirt, and gravel and all that to make the foundation sit on good enough dirt. Well, that ain't happening. And so the other option was what is called helical piers. So helical piers are really cool, right? It's kind of like a big steel corkscrew, all right? And they came out and they basically did some tests on the property to figure out, all right, if we do the helical piers, we got to have helical piers. We are going to end up having 147 helical piers, basically, and the way that they work, and just to give you a little more insight, so it's like a metal corkscrew, a big steel corkscrew in 7-foot lengths. Well, what they do is they start, it looks like a big corkscrew, right? They start drilling it down, right? And they've got a read on this, or a little display that shows like what the kip is, or think of it as like pounds per square inch. They need to go down deep enough until they hit a specific kip, whether or not it's 35 kips or 50 kips or whatever. Well, as they go down, they keep going, right? As low as they need to go. Every 7 feet, they add another like extension to the helical pier, and they keep going. Well, they came out, they did a bunch of testing, and it's like $20 per linear foot. The average for the piers is going to be around like 18 feet deep. So, what does that all mean? It basically means that it's going to be like an additional, like, I don't know, like call it $50,000 for the helical piers. But the good news is that we don't need to remove all the bad dirt, which is good, because that ain't happening, because it's $350,000. Now, there were some additional fees and engineering that had to happen to figure out, because the way that it works, once you do the pier, it basically gets cut once it hits that kip, and then a plate goes on, and then they tie the plate into the footer of the house so that it's super secure. So literally, there are two things that are going to be left standing in Marietta once this is finished. This house, if the bomb drops, this house is going to be cool because it's on literally like steel, like stilts. And then the salon, because the over-engineering and the amount of steel that was used in order to make that second floor is ridiculous, like over-engineered. So anyway, that is a long story, but the good news is that just yesterday, we kind of got the answers that we needed. We got all the quotes back, and we kind of know what we're looking at. And so instead of total cost for removing the dirt and bringing new dirt in, because dirt is kind of expensive, I've come to realize, versus what we are going to be doing, because there is some additional expense to tie in the footer to the helical piers. Instead of 350, it's like 100 extra, which was not necessarily budgeted, but I've been, aware that this project is going to it's going to be more than I anticipated as we come up with and find new problems. But anyway, tomorrow they're supposed to get back here. They're starting to bring better dirt in to actually fill up this like big area, and then on next week they're going to start with the helical piers and the trenching and all that. So they'll also be filling up that pond, right? Because that pond, we kind of stopped because we ended up, that's where the old pipe was, right, running through. We stopped adding gravel to that because we were like, okay, the gravel that we were filling it up with was really expensive, and we're like, well, wait, we don't know what's gonna happen, so just stop and wait. It literally has been about a month since anything really has happened here, and I'm not the most patient person, but it is what it is, and I knew that this was not going to be without its problems or hiccups, and so I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Hopefully things will start moving again, and I will give you more updates later. Now, let's go back to the office and answer some of your amazing business questions. All right, so there are some business questions that I want to dive into that are pretty awesome. The first one is about workplace dating. It's from Will Kissick. He says, business question. Hi, Aaron. I have a question about workplace dating. Does Tiege have a policy regarding this? I work at Starbucks, and we have policies stating that you cannot date a supervisor or somebody who's supervising, a supervisor to you. Two baristas could date, for instance, but not a barista and a shift supervisor. I myself would never date a coworker because I feel it just makes things complicated. However, I know that some places allow it. Just curious from your 2 cents. So it's a terrible idea, horrible idea to date somebody that you're working with. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where work, we spend like 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day. So those are the people that you're around. And so if you meet somebody, you like them, they like you. I mean, it happens all the time. People mess around, right? Affairs happen all the time, because you spend so much time together. But it's a disastrous situation. We have had situations at Tiege that we've had, two people dating. I don't know that we have rules saying that you can't, but, it definitely did cause issues. And that's where I'm going to leave that. But, in terms of, you've just got to decide what's right for you. If you break up with the person and you're dating them and you got to sit next to them or see them, or then she breaks up with you and then they start dating, so like it's literally a recipe for disaster. There are a ton of spicy fish in the sea. Do not shit where you eat. I've heard that saying before, and I think it's pretty appropriate. Don't shit where you eat, meaning don't date somebody that you're having to work with, right? Because if something goes wrong, it's just a messy, ugly, nasty situation potentially. But is it going to happen? Yes. Should you have a rule about it? It's still going to happen. Like, even if you have a rule, people are going to still mess around, and then you're going, and once you find out, then you have to decide whether or not you're going to fire people. Like just don't do it. It's bad. It's horrible. It's a terrible idea, but a great question. The next business question is about franchises, fitness franchises specifically. He says, it's from our friend Bob Zules. What's up, Bob? Thanks for hanging with us. What are your thoughts on owning franchise businesses in the boutique industry, such as F45 or Orange Theory? Thanks, Alpha. You know, F45, I believe that is the group fitness facility that Mark Wahlberg is a part of, I believe. I know that they're probably doing well. You know, Orange Theory, I know that Orange Theories do well, but they have their problems. You know, the good news when you do buy or when you invest in a franchise is that you get handed all of the information. You get all of the, you know, everything is basically laid out for you, which makes a lot of the decisions easy because there's only the way that they do it and you can't really mess that up. But it still is going to require you to get a great location. There's also going to be fees associated with it, so you're not going to make as much money, but you could make more. Because if you were going to, instead of, you know, F45 or Orange Theory, if you were to come out with Bob's Theory, right, you're going to have a harder time. It's got brand recognition, and that's kind of one of the most beneficial things about buying a franchise. And so, you know, they also have training, and they've got, you know, sort of you're basically going to learn and be able to execute based on the fact that they have helped other people, you know, overcome these things. So you're going to avoid a lot of issues, a lot of speed bumps. But like I said, you're going to have to give franchise fees. You're going to have to give percentage of you know, how much you make, how much revenue. So it's really a decision that you and only you can make. You know, I think that it's hard if you were to try to open up your own like individual like fitness, you know, business. I think it's hard. I think it's really hard, and it's all about marketing. It's super about marketing and location, those two things, and that's it. You know, and it's hard. You've got to, you know, the good thing with franchises is they've got, you know, sort of structured, you know, ways of trying to acquire customers and doing pre-sales before you're open, and they've got the flyers, and they'll tell you this is how you do it. So it takes a lot of the risk away, but it doesn't mean that there's not risk. If your business isn't doing well, or it's in a bad location, or a bad, you know, if something happens, like, you are still going to have to, you know, eat a lot of the problems that come along with it. But if you're not somebody that is ready to roll up their sleeves and really figure everything out, I think it's a great idea. If you've got the cash to invest, I think it could be good. The other cool thing is that if it's a franchise, you could also potentially sell it. And if it's a successful franchise, you know, selling it is a lot easier. If you have Bob's, you know, Theory or Bob's Gym or whatever, it makes it a lot more challenging, but it's definitely still possible. But congratulations, good luck. The fitness industry, though, scares the crap out of me. The next business question comes from our friend Arman Inadar. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here. He says, hey, Aaron, what do you think about stocks and to invest in them? By the way, Alpha, huge fan. So what do I think of stocks? I don't know. I am the worst. Like, I am not giving any investment advice on anybody, you know. I invested, dude, some of my biggest like losers that I was pumped. I invested in Coinbase. I'm not into crypto, right? I have never gotten bitten by the crypto bug. But when Coinbase was getting ready to go public, I was like, yeah, you know, heck, okay, if that's the most popular, then yeah, no, let's do that. Let me invest in that. And I bought it on the day that it opened. I have lost a ton of money in that one. It's like almost down to like zero. So whatever. You never invest more than you can afford to lose. A stock that I've loved, I've made some money, I've sold it, I've made some money, I've lost money, is Shopify. I still love Shopify, but it's not that, like, it's all, for me, like, I invested in Peloton a little bit. So I am not, okay, so here's how my stock portfolio works. I have a company that I give, you know, money to, that basically handles stuff. So they're buying stuff like, like Home Depot, like all the standard things that you would expect that are like solid, good companies, solid principles. And then on top of that, if there's a stock or a business that I kind of just like, and typically the way that it works is the things that I buy are things that I use that I know, right? Sometimes it's worked well. Like I bought and sold Shopify when it was high, right? So I'm very ahead on that specific stock. Other ones like, what is another one that I bought? Peloton. I bought Peloton, but then, it went crazy down. I don't even look at it, honestly, on a daily basis. And then another one what else did I can't even remember. Anyway, I used to think that I was a genius when I would pick things and they'd go like up, right? But then they'd crash, and then I think I'm an idiot, and I don't know. I don't like investing a lot in the stock market personally, just because it makes me uncomfortable. I have no control over it. And I am not somebody that can handle, like if I had all of my assets in like one place, or the stock market or mutual funds or whatever, and what's happening now, if it happened to me, which it has, but to a small degree in terms of my total assets, like if it dropped 30% or 40%, that would I don't know that I don't have the stomach for that. Even though I know okay, over time it just dollar cost average, I get it. It's all been explained to me. I understand, I'm not stupid, but still it doesn't feel good. And so for me, I understand real estate. I understand investing in my business. I understand, if I'm investing money in terms of advertising on Amazon, I'll invest money in my businesses because that I feel like I've got control over it. Even though I don't have 100%, I've got a lot more control. And so investing in my businesses is somewhere that I feel very comfortable with. But the stock market, I do it, mutual funds, retirement, I've got a defined benefits plan that my company set up for me. That's kind of like a big, a pension plan, basically. I do stuff, I just don't like to do stuff. So to answer your question, I don't like stocks. And the last business question, hold on, I need a sip of my Starbucks coffee. Dan B. This is a business question. Not really, LOL. What's the status of your relationship with Starbucks? Looks like a different cup. Can we get the story? So he's so curious. So I can't really tell you about my so for those of you who've been around for a while, you know that I've always loved Starbucks, right? Well, then I broke up with Starbucks. I got really annoyed at Starbucks, honestly. There are a lot of reasons. But then, I started going back to Starbucks a little bit, and anyway, all I can say is I just want a cup of coffee. That's it. I'm a simple man. When I go into Starbucks, I want a coffee. That's it. I go up, I know what I want, I get the same thing every day. I can't say. I'm sorry. If we ever meet in person, I will tell you the story. But somewhere like this, I can't do it. I gotta be more disciplined than that. But I want to tell you the story. But yeah, I'm back with Starbucks because it's whatever. They do have whatever. Gosh, I wish I could tell you. It would make me. Yeah, it would. I just want coffee. I don't want to be preached to. I don't want to feel bad when I leave. I just want a cup of coffee. I just want a cup of coffee. And, I started, there were times that I'd leave Starbucks and I'd feel bad about myself because maybe I called somebody the wrong name or whatever, the wrong, I feel like I have ruined more baristas' days going to Starbucks because I'll just be like, what's up, man? And it's like, oh shit. Anyway. And then, see, you're getting it out of me. I just want coffee. I just want coffee. That's all I want. I am a simple man. All I want is coffee. Gentlemen, the only thing I want from you is to say thank you. That isn't even anything I want. You can see I'm probably flushed and blushing right now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you have a business question, down below, start it with business question and ask it. Tomorrow, I'm actually, I've already gotten back by the time you watch this. I'm going to Texas to hang out with Max Tuning, possibly David from How to Beast. I am going to be going to Alpha Land, Christian Guzman's Monster Mega Complex, and I already feel old. So I feel old and fat and out of shape. I haven't even been there yet, but I know that when I get there and I see all the beautiful people in all the spandex working out, it's going to be out of this world and just crazy. But I'm very excited to see this because in terms of entrepreneurs that I respect, Max is up there, right? Also, Christian Guzman, what he's done and where he's come from to get to, like, he is nothing short of like super, super inspiring. Work-life balance, not so much. Inspiring, yes.